So much is going on in the economy right now, and people are asking the question, what's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my retirement account? What about my job? Is artificial intelligence going to take it? Do I have to be concerned here? In this video, we're going to break that down. We're going to look at the job scenario. We're, of course, going to look at this crisis, if you stay to the end, a crisis that is unfolding on a global level. I've got a lot of information to cover, and I wanted to begin by looking at this article, which breaks down what's happening with jobs. The US labor market burned red hot in January as hiring unexpectedly surged and unemployment fell to a 53-year low, defying recession forecasts and adding pressure on the Fed to keep raising interest rates. Now, if you're on this channel or you're aware of the news, this was red hot, right? You're looking at unemployment at something like 3.4% on the U3 unemployment, which is the government's favorite measure. And then you look at the fact that US job openings unexpectedly jump above 11 million. Can you believe it? 11 million. Now, this is just, it shows you that businesses can't hire. They cannot get enough people in. So this is, and when you look at this, unusual in a historical context. We don't see that. We really don't. Vacancies at employers unexpectedly increased at the end of 2022, illustrating a solid appetite for labor that the Fed sees as one of the last hurdles to bring down inflation. So a lot of this is really about what the Federal Reserve is going to do next. They're looking at what's happening with jobs. They're looking at the economy as a whole. And for a lot of people, they are concerned about their own situation, saying, hey, if we keep increasing interest rates, we're going to be crushed. And that's, for everything except the stock market, that of course is real. Now, when you look at the stock market, they've ignored that. Now there's no more worry about what's happening with interest rates. They've already said, nope, we're not going to look. And in fact, I have a very funny quote about that today. This is giving you a look at what's happening with the GDP across different areas within the Eurozone, Germany, France, Italy, and Spain. They do not believe there's going to be much of a slowdown. Don't worry about it. It's just so small, nothing to be concerned. Well, here we have the worst on record. Korea's records the biggest trade deficit ever as chip prices fall. South Korea is one of the bellwethers that we can look at for the global economy. It tends to hit there first. That gives a little bit of insight along with semiconductors, and then it makes its way towards the rest of the world. Now, it doesn't have to be that way, but that's generally the way that it has worked. Mexico's modest growth. Looking at this all around the world, you see that, okay? That's what I wanted to highlight. Look, jobs galore give U.S. consumers firepower to fight off a recession. Early 2023 numbers on job services show resilient consumers. Well, the consumer is using, as I've highlighted many times before, the consumer is using the credit card at a rate we've never seen before. They're using those buy now, pay later services like they have never done before. And so when you say that the consumer is strong, I really don't believe that, but they are spending their money. They have to in order to pay their bills. I have shown you the data before that highlights the fact that what you see right now, people are using their credit cards not necessarily to buy the flat screen TVs and the PlayStations and all that. They're using it to pay their bills. That is a concern, okay? Then we have, looking at this, a lot to this, but let me just quickly highlight the fact that the U.S. job market just won't quit. It's a sign of underlying strength for the economy. Great news for workers. It's also a possible pitfall if wage gains don't continue to ease. Some of that has come down. If you remember, I think it was yesterday, the day before's video, where I did highlight that in areas where the wage growth was excessive, that has started to come down, but it's still higher than where it was a few years ago. If you haven't seen that video yet, definitely look back a couple videos where you can see this. At the bottom, they basically talk about the fact that there's a reopening that's happening within China. And here, the sudden rise in consumer demand could trigger price jumps on commodities like oil and gas, putting upward pressure on inflation again. And this is the second wave. There could be, whether that's 2023 or beyond, a second wave of inflation that starts to pick up. Now, maybe it doesn't hit the same level as it did before, but there could definitely be something there. We got to watch it. Nearly 2,000 CEOs think that their companies won't be able to make money in 10 years. They are concerned about different things, and among others, they talk about artificial intelligence. They are worried about this. They're saying climate change, technological disruption, demographic shifts, a fracturing world, and social instability are some of those mega trends. Really big. Okay, really big stuff here that will happen regardless, whether it's, one thing or another. Who knows what will be, but we do know that there's a lot happening at this time. We see that artificial intelligence come in, and we see the robotics come in, and we see different industries are starting to not be what they once were. That's really something that we need to highlight. Where we do have those that are just as strong as they were 20 years ago, like energy, there's been a lot of change too. This is talking about artificial intelligence specifically. That's a hot topic today. Of course, saying that a lot of these huge companies, they can't compete with these little startups. Look at OpenAI that makes ChatGPT. They came out of nowhere in 2 months. 2 months, they were able to attain growth that took literally a decade or more for some of these big companies, because in a flash, these companies can sprout up, get enough funding, and create something that literally millions of people use every single day. That is truly disruptive. Not disruptive the way Cathie Wood describes it, but actually truly disruptive. Cloud leaders Amazon, Google, and Microsoft show the once booming market is cooling down. They can't grow at this, crazy rate forever. That's important. And where they're putting, by the way, I just want to mention, where they are putting a lot of these servers and things, many times they're in these hot climates. So they're using so much energy for this when, they should be putting them in areas where they have cool environments. That's a whole different point. Now let me talk about the next aspect here. Interest rates have come down and your discount rate has come down. So even though your earnings aren't going up, you could assign a higher price on the stock just because of the lower discount rate. What does that all mean? Look at this line. They're saying, hey, we are going to get out of this within 6 to 12 months. So let's just look through it. Think about that. That's called pricing to perfection. You're just making the assumption that everything's going to be okay in 6 to 12 months. Therefore, go all in, risk on. I want you to know this as an investor or as a person with a 401k, retirement account, super, or RSP. This is the way that the fund managers act with your money. Okay? I don't think that's prudent at all, but that's what they do. So, and look at this. Trading in call options jumps to a record high. What is call options? Call options are bets that the market is going to go up. A put is betting on the market going down. And right now, literally at a record high. A record high. What does that tell you? Oh, there's fear in the market. The fear in the market. Oh my goodness, we've never seen this before. The fear and greed index. Complete nonsense. Look at the data. Bed Bath & Beyond will close all but one Kansas City area store. Liquidation sales begin at 4 more locations. Bed Bath & Beyond was being bought up by these retail traders. For what? The company's going bankrupt. How many of these companies that shouldn't really exist anymore? If you remember back in, 2020 or 2021 craze where everything was going wild, people were buying the stock. There's a stock that's for Blockbuster's bankruptcy. So the stock is there and it's literally about their bankruptcy, and the stock had gone up like 2,000% in a day or something because people are just buying the worst garbage possible. And it shows you that there is no fear, that there is no concern. Look, what's 11 million jobs. We are living in fantasy land today. It's wild. It's crazy. Now, look, you stuck with me until this part of the video, and I want to highlight something about what's happening globally. It's unbelievable. Look, check it out. Europe's energy crisis is tipping legions of small businesses over the edge. Europe is positioned so badly. Europe, as well as, I can specifically highlight UK as well. This area is not positioned well for the future. Now, the way I look at this, I've got businesses, I've got business in the UK, I'm expanding to the rest of Europe. So I'm still going to do that, but I'm not going to basically position myself in a way where I rely on that, because who knows what's going to happen. Inventory runs out, maybe I just call it quits, but I'm not going to put all my eggs into that basket because, okay, that's just my thoughts, okay? Colombia inflation lags forecasts, easing rate hike pressure. Annual inflation accelerated 13.25%. That's still very high for the people of Colombia that are dealing with this. Colombia has raised interest rates by 11 percentage points. They have very high interest, and it's showing you that they really want to bring down inflation. Unlike some other places, you see that the way it goes. Chaotic cash shortage forces Nigerians to wait hours for $43. Look at what's happening to Peru. Look at Pakistan. Look at, so many different places. They're having some sort of civil unrest, financial problems, inflation, food crisis. Like it's just going on today. It's extreme for one reason or another. It doesn't matter. Really, the reason doesn't matter sometimes, although you could personally be concerned about one area. You might live there or have family there, whatever. Look at Lebanon, my goodness. But it's just showing us that this is brewing all around the world today. Argentina, which decades unsuccessfully tried to beat runaway inflation with unorthodox policies, has come up with a new tool to track the price of increases. Guess what? Artificial intelligence. So here it is. We are seeing AI being used everywhere. They're just saying they're tracking it using AI and this and that. I just think that what Argentina is going through is something that I highlighted years ago. People said, no, it would never happen, but here we are. When you start to fall and you come down, you're never able to turn that around. It just doesn't happen. You don't turn around your inflation. People lose out. This is what's going on today. Everything is topsy-turvy. Stock market is just going up, up, and up. The jobs market is completely open. It looks like, hey, we got 11 million vacancies. Sure, why not? Anything that you could dream up, this is happening today. It's crazy, to say the least. Look, if you appreciated this information, hit that subscribe button down below, because I'm going to bring you videos each and every day, the latest and greatest, because you came here for the truth. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.